The intro's going.
That's how you do it. Shook up a couple. He's still going. Butler over in the corner. That's the line. Over the line he rolls. Burnside. Bretta. Old Collegians have turned it over. Oh, he's got it again. He's got to go. Spry will devour. Spry will go. Port Adelaide will push out. And they will push them to Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this second elimination weekend. My name, as always, is Dave Webb. Now, I've got a little treat for you. I'm joined in the commentary booth by David Muggleton, who is the man in charge of Spacequake Sports. Good afternoon, David.
Good afternoon, Dave. Treat of the week right here.
I know. Welcome to the commentary booth. Now, while we've got you and we're waiting for the teams to come out, just make very quick mention of the reserve grade over on the far pitch. That looks like a very, very close one. Burnside just nosing herself in front.
Let's see if we can get one of the cameras, the scoreboard up that far end. It might be possible.
Well, this is the director in you just straight away. Final. This has been a massive undertaking. I think. First of all, thank you very much for the season.
There we go. 27. Oh no,
that's this one. There's a little one just next to it.
There's another one over to the left.
Thank you very much for all the work you've done for the season. We've had one game each round of the regular season, apart from the one that was just destroyed by weather, where we were supposed to be up at the Barossa. But just talk about what goes into these weekends.
Well, a lot of good work. Oh, there we go. 26 to 32. That's a. Is that an accurate clock? Oh no, that's just the time.
Yeah.
There you go. And then of course we just watched a bit of a showdown with Burnside taking out Onkaparinga in a bit of a down to the wire match. So they'll face Souths next week with the women's comp. But yeah, going into the live streams, a lot of work with the head office. So Rose definitely needs to be given huge props. Her and I are in constant communication, organising. The clubs, each and every club that hosts these live streams, do an absolute exceptional job. Accommodating us, obviously hosting, putting on a show wherever appropriate. And then of course, you know, the Spacequake team, we're all just charging around doing our thing. We've got usually Carl and Murray up the top, occasionally Jackson making a guest appearance. Debbie doing excellent work down on the far end. Let's see if we can get a close-up shot of Debbie up on the cam. Let's get the overhead tied on Debbie right now. Just doing a bit of
directing from the commentary booth.
From the commentary position. Why not? And then of course we've got Brandon stepping up as well now, doing more of the switching.
You're doing it. You've had some cameos over the last couple of weekends.
Yes,
You're
so
running around with the camera.
Brandon being able to switch. Hey, there's Debbie. Brandon being able to switch games has allowed me to jump back on the camera again, which has been incredibly fun. So some of the more, how did you put it, artistic conversions, coverage and stuff, that's me cranking it up. I'm pretty sure I make plenty of cameos in the wide angle, just me clob hobbling around.
Trying to get off after the kick has been
trying to get off after the kick or get in place for the lineouts. But, you know, it's all about the people, what we do with rugby. So it's the people in the clubs, the people at South Australian Rugby Union, the head office, and then, of course, you know, the team that we've kind of built around. And no small amount of acknowledgement could be big enough for obviously what you do, coming out each week, calling the games. I mean, all you need to do is watch a live stream without a quality commentator at the helm, and you realise just how much of a difference it makes.
So, obviously, over the last 3 years, we talked about this. This is like our 3-year anniversary, or the grand final.
The grand final will be, yes.
Our 3-year anniversary. So it's getting on to our 4th that we've done. The first one we did was we did post commentary, and then we've gone live for the last 2, and this will be the 3rd where we'll be live.
So it'll be the 4th in a row that we've done, and the 3rd in a row that we've live broadcast.
And is there a potential, I'm going to put you on the spot now.
Oh, here we go.
Is there a potential for the first live one we've done not to be Burnside Brighton? We'll be careful, because Tom's just sat to our right.
We do have a Burnside. Okay, so I should point out that obviously we at Spacequake Sports
because probably no one's watched as much rugby.
Nobody's
watched as much rugby as you over the last 3 years.
I think that Brighton will be winning another one, but I think it will be Old Coles giving them a run for it this year. That's my expectation, although the top 4 are a top 4. I think the outcome of the second game, of course we're watching the Prem 2 at the moment, the outcome of this Onkaparinga Burnside will be very interesting, and we'll just get the 3rd mic turned on as well.
Yeah. And we'll try and find him a chair from somewhere.
That's right. I mean, this is probably about time that I should take my leave and jump on a camera, so
Thank you very much
I'll
for
depart the
spending
commentary
some
station.
time with us. Feel free to jump back in whenever you want.
Yeah, no worries.
That's okay. But we will welcome Tom Hankey. Good afternoon, Tom.
Good afternoon, gents. How are we? We're
We're
good?
really good, yes.
Excellent.
See, there was an interesting one over on that far pitch. So Burnside reserves have gone through in that one.
Yes, they did, right at the last minute as well. They left it. So our two quite late tries that we saw, and yeah, a bit of a rapturous response from the sidelines there, who were very excited to get that. But again, it posed it was a banana skin posed for Monkers, and I reckon the same could probably be said for the final game in our commentary today.
So we are getting ready for this one, and first of all, I must say as well, as I didn't say before, I was kind of excited to have David with me. Happy Father's Day to everybody out there. It is the 1st of September, first day of spring. Happy Father's Day. I'm going to give a shout out to my dad. I get to do that because I have the microphone. Happy Father's Day, Dad. It's one of two for the UK contingent. They get more than one every year. But happy Father's Day, Dad, wherever you are. I hope you get to see this. And thank you very much for everything you've done for me over my 40 and a bit years on this planet. So we're getting ready for Premiership 2 elimination final. Win or go home for these two teams. Woodville in their traditional green and yellow. Elizabeth will be in the red, white and blue hoops. I don't think they've come out just yet. Elizabeth hosting is another home game for them. They had one last week, and they won the right to come and play this one as they come out. And they're going to hope to go and play Port Adelaide next weekend, which I think is a big ask. If we saw what Port Adelaide did yesterday, it certainly put a stamp down yesterday.
Did they ever? Yeah, they were very rambunctious yesterday, weren't they, Port Adelaide?
Well, that's one word for it.
But you know, everything flowed really quite well for them, and yeah, it's going to be an intriguing one. I think this one actually will also present some intrigue, particularly around where we know where Woodville are quite strong. But I was speaking to Tommy Price before the game kicked off, and he said that this is probably as close to what they have as a full strength side since the third game in. So,
well, it's interesting. You talk about ins and outs. Anthony Bell is out. He showed me the X-ray of his finger. The young man who came off last week. Yeah. He showed me the X-ray of his finger. He's completely sheared. Wow. The top. The bone in his index finger. It didn't look very pretty, but they have got Ryan Gatehouse back. Yeah. He's just had issues with work. We all work for a living, and he's had issues through his work, so it's interesting to see him back. Out for Elizabeth, the angriest man in South Australian rugby, Jason Hyam, was his third yellow card. So
yes, so he misses out.
He misses out. I had a very frank discussion with him this morning, and I said, "You've seen it again. Do you accept the yellow card?" And he was like, "Yes." It was difficult to argue with. But we are ready to go. Like we've said, this is win or go home. You would say on paper Woodville will be the favourites, but it's knockout elimination rugby and anything can happen.
Exactly that. And I think we saw some snippets from Elizabeth when they played against Barossa last week as well, where they can be quite dangerous, because Woodville, I think, struggle defensively once it gets outside 10. And if Elizabeth can keep the ball moving like they did last week against Barossa, then they'll cause some problems out there for them. But yes, you would expect that Woodville will trail to victory today.
So Campagna, he will take that kick and just work his way out. A man very proud of his Italian heritage.
He had a good game last week, didn't he, as well? Open the scoring for Elizabeth.
It's an interesting one again. We talked about how much gas you've got in the tank. Now, I got here and I managed to watch the entirety of the girls' game before this one, which was Burnside taking on Onkaparinga. Burnside had one on the bench, well, two on the bench, and of the two, one of them suffering gastro. Right. So they were really, really short on. They had an injury in the first half, and you just felt if they could get their noses in front and hold on, they would have been okay. And as it turned out, Onkaparinga really came back strong at them just because they were fitter and stronger. I think the same could be said right now. I think Elizabeth probably come into this game with the orange light on already.
Yeah.
It's been a tough uphill season for them.
It has. It's had its ups and downs for sure. I mean, they played Woodville twice already this season. Firstly, at the start of the season, I think Woodville put 57 points on them. But we've also seen a bit of a resurgence in them in the last couple of weeks as well, where I don't know whether they've had players that have come back into the fold for them, but their results have actually taken quite a positive upturn. So I think that ball started rolling when they drew 12 apiece with Woodville a couple of weeks ago, and since then they've had a trail of really good results.
Yeah, just see that line out, not straight. So it'll be a scrum down to Woodville. Have the choice from not straight, so they're obviously happier with the scrum, which you probably would be, wouldn't you, to be honest, with Tommy Price in that front row?
Yeah, absolutely. They pride themselves on that set piece part that do Woodville, and let's be fair to Elizabeth.
Ball out the back to Gatehouse. Gatehouse only knows one way, and that's hard and fast and straight. Ryan Gatehouse. They'll go into the middle again to Adcock. Adcock is stood up. Campagna did well to keep him up there. If it doesn't come out, you think it's going to be Elizabeth's way, which it is. It is Elizabeth's way. It's just a little bit too upright from Lindsay. No, it's not Lindsay Adcock, it's the other one, Lewis.
Yeah, I think he picked up an award at Don Smith's night as well, I think.
We're getting a nod from Graham Gibson.
So this is going to be quite an interesting one. I think Woodville are going to have quite a fair bit of dominance in this area today, and saw last week with Elizabeth against Barossa, and they got decimated, and you think that Woodville have got probably a bit of a more powerful pack than what Barossa do, and certainly the first scrum that we saw very much favourable towards Woodville there.
Well, they started okay, Elizabeth, but they dropped off a cliff with their scrummaging at least. So Elizabeth, first real time we've seen them with ball in hand. Just happy to keep working and keep possession. Nice ball out the back, goes to ground, but I know did go forward. Just a little knock on.
You're seeing around the fringe areas here. That's really good line speed initially by the Woodville number, I think it's number 2. Tackle technique probably a tiny bit questionable, but they've not allowed them to make any yards.
Just that little knock on, just snatched at it, didn't he? But the line speed from Woodville on that one kind of forcing that error somewhat. Yeah,
it did. Yeah, put a good amount of pressure on, and if you can limit what happens at the next phase by that line speed, then that's a good win.
So again, nice and solid. Jet Connor will go on that near side, on that far side, and just down that blind side. Hunt will pick and drive, gets good yardage again. They're going to try and stand them up. Now try and bundle them into touch, what they did. Good defence, but again, we're 5 minutes into this one. It's going to be a big, long day out for them.
Yeah, it is. It is going to be a big ask. And Woodville, when we look at the way that they performed the last week against Uni, they had a very good start. I think they were 10-0 up within about 5 minutes or so. So you'd probably be looking, or they would at least have had the conversation around making sure that if they do build a lead here today, that they just keep going and don't let up.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, you would feel, and you know, like I alluded to before, you would feel that the only way that they're going to get out of this is if they can get their noses in front and stay in front. I think to work hard to get that out, which he has. I think if Woodville are allowed to put the stamp on this game early, it's going to be a big afternoon for Elizabeth.
Yeah, you would say so, because they'll just you think that they'll probably just and look, Elizabeth as well, they've lost probably their talisman here as well, leading into the game with Jason being out, and he's a very prominent player for them.
Has been given the okay to technically support from the non-playing enclosure.
Yeah, a bit like what Troy did the other week.
Well, I mean, he won't be coming on. There's another short ball, and that one's just coughed up, and we will have another scrum. Just that loopy pass and just dropped it.
Yeah, just spilled out there for the Elizabeth
Just
players.
this one, I think
he looked as though he had just had eyes on the man who was coming to defend him. He just taken a bit of concentration off there and ended up dropping the ball.
Yeah, just no reason for it, really.
Reason. Not particularly high pressure.
Possibly a little bit of nerves.
I think with Elizabeth, whether it's their scrum or whether it's not, this is going to be a major, major struggle for them today.
You just want to see them just lock out as soon as they can. I mean, and it's all 8 at the moment. I mean, your number 8, well, you want him to try and keep an eye on it, but he's got to be head down, bum up at the moment, hasn't he? Especially 5 meters out. It is a Woodville ball, an Elizabeth ball, but Woodville will steal it and steal it in easily. Adcock sends it out into midfield. Mellish trying to run around the outside. We'll give it to Young Roberts. Young Roberts just lowers his head, gets in the 5. Does he get there? Ball is down. Yes, he does. So just exactly the same as last week. Yeston Young Roberts will open the scoring account.
Yeah, well worked again, and that's come from a turnover at scrum time. We did say earlier on that that's going to be a struggle point for Elizabeth today, and a lovely pass out from Adcock there that's got the ball rolling out wide, and I think just power and momentum has taken him over there.
Yeah, he's just rolled over. Yeston Young Roberts, he's a big, powerful man, and he's down in the number 10 jersey, but I think he's playing at 13 or 12 or 13, I think.
Yeah, doesn't make our jobs any easier, unfortunately.
So it's probably a good time to talk about conditions with the first one. Again, it is breezy.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's a bit of a nicer day all round than what it was last week, but it's that wind is going to have a little bit of an effect, you might think. Flags and trees certainly moving in a pretty robust fashion, so that might either help or hinder this kick. We'll see.
Well, the wind's brought that back round lovely. Flags go up.
I'm seeing some early heads down from Elizabeth, and that's not a good sign, 9 minutes into the game.
So we're just waiting for the ball. Oh, there's an injury. That's not what Elizabeth want early doors, but the restart will go. Driven high and long. Lewis Adcock will get underneath it, tries to find a gap just down this near side. Beats one, can't beat the second one. Good pod, Hebhart just goes hard and straight. Adcock again to Price, just on his fingertips, couldn't bring it in. Now can Elizabeth counter-attack? Don't think Brooks wanted that, but decided to take it. Starchenko's got hands on. He'll win that one.
Yeah, it's a good steal.
And then Price just comes in and finishes it all off.
Just making sure.
Adcock missed Gatehouse. He's annoyed by that, but just see this turnover here. Starchenko's second one in, big and strong over the top of it. And then Tommy Price got bored and just cleaned it all out.
I can't really see Elizabeth getting...
And did they must have bundled it into touch then.
I think it just went out.
Wayward
the
pass, wasn't it?
Yeah, wayward pass. But Elizabeth just seemingly pointing their attack around the breakdown area. I don't think they're going to get too much change out of that today. It's typically when Woodville defensively are quite notoriously strong.
The lineup looks better. Dropped inside. It says Richards, but it doesn't look like Mikey Richards. It's a late change, I think.
Well, he's given, I thought he had his hand out for offside there, and actually the ball had already been picked up, so I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah, he had gone the offside. Thinking about... Be interested to see, I don't know whether we'll see from here.
Ball's out there, picked up, and that's...
Yeah, well, you can see him just sort of creeping up in midfield, but 2 hands on it doesn't mean out, Tom.
No, I know, yeah, it's...
He did kind of show it though, didn't he?
Oh,
Be interesting to see whether we could see it again, because he kind of balked at it.
I thought that his hand, the ball had gone out and he's picked it up, and everything for me is saying that, you know, it's
He's
out.
allowed to go,
absolutely.
but yeah. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Won't dwell on it, no.
Yeah, we will move on, and it will be an Elizabeth line out, 22 metres out. Everson at the front. Pass misses everybody. Now they will try and work it along the line. That's big and strong and runs through Gatehouse. They get back to the gain line finally, and then rolls around it, nice and strong. Yeah, the arm's going to come out for Hunt for that one. That's not through the gate.
No, bit of side entry there.
So they're going to come back for that one. There is a Woodville player down at the moment. Brooks has already pointed at the posts. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
so for those of you new to rugby, which I don't think is many, you have to come from the gate. So it's as wide as the ruck is, you have to come through the back of it.
Yeah, that's
Can't
it.
come through the side.
No, that's right, and that was side entry right there.
Definitely a kickable penalty. We are early days. I saw Brooks point to the posts. Whiten has ball in hand. Haven't got a number for the Woodville player who's down. But Matt Connor is warming up, talking about returns to rugby. I think the only way you could tell how old Matt Connor was if you chopped a leg off and counted the rings. He is made of oak, that man. Oh, it's a blood injury.
Yep.
Yeah, just a little bit of blood coming out of the eyebrow. Kind of a design flaw, aren't they, the eyebrows? They split far too easily.
They do, they really do.
Doesn't look like a good one.
They're a little bit hard to then stop the flow of blood as well, in a very irritating place.
Generally, they need stitches. I don't think we have a doctor who's going to do that for them at the moment. It doesn't look like a good one, though, from what I can see. In fact, most of the bench are turning away. I don't think we'll see him return. That is good.
A bit of a needless 3 points for Woodville to give away there. There was no real mass amount of threat coming out of that ruck area. It looked like it was pretty well contained, and then needless side entry there that's resulted in them losing 3 points.
Just tend to get excited, don't we?
I think so, yeah, a little bit.
I'm just keeping half an eye and ear on this injury. Tom?
Yeah, some demands for a medical kit, so...
Yeah, no, I think so one of the trainers has just come over and said, nah, you're going to have to go somewhere. So it looks like he's got a cut in a really weird place. Restart, came off the foot of Matt Connor. I think that's probably going to be Matt Connor for the rest of the day. I think he's probably going to end up in that position.
Yeah, I think so.
I can't see this fella coming back. But line out to Elizabeth. Inside their own half. Everson again, a little bit messy. They have to tidy it up. Rosemeyer does that. Now they can go into midfield again. They beat the first tackle. Inside to Everson. He gets away from two. Then dragged down. Big loud blast. Sealing off. Just goes straight over the top and a penalty. And Quinton Fresser has seen something. So he does okay. Well, it's a bit. I mean, he did, but there's nobody there. They're not contesting.
We've seen
play on,
and we probably will see a lot of situations where that probably just goes.
I mean, just let it go. Just play.
Unnoticed. It's not really affected.
No, as soon as Woodville on, I mean, yeah. That's there to prevent Woodville having a crack at the ball. That's what that penalty's for, and they weren't having a crack at it.
No.
Fleischfresser has seen something. That's Quinton over on the far side. Phil Jones is in the middle. Lewis Adcock being called over to have a chat. See whether we can find work out. Play referee charades. Pulling down in the lineup, possibly. Oh, and it's a yellow.
So what's that for?
Well, I think it was pulling down in the line-out. Let's see whether we get a signal when he gives the penalty.
No signal.
No, I think that's what it was, pulling down in the line-out. Yeah, okay. So young man's just walked past. He's got a cut just inside the eye.
Okay, that's a bit concerning.
So it wasn't the eyebrow.
I didn't see anything malicious from any Elizabeth player to think that there would be any sort of gouge, but
no, it might be a loose one. Everson again. It's certainly, as far as set piece go, Elizabeth will want to stay with that line out, and again they just unsheath the battering ram.
Yeah.
Whiten into midfield again. Again, the first up tackle not there. Hunt gets him. Gone forward. We'll come back for the scrum.
Yeah, there's going to be occasions where I think just by definition of the players within the team that this is going to get a little bit messy on occasions as well. Good again, intent of line speed from Woodville to get up and put some pressure on. Again, questionable around the tackle technique that had occurred there, and it's just let the guy through. And then, yeah, he's just ended up spilling that forward under a little bit of pressure there as he's gone his way down.
First up tackles is certainly something that Woodville will want to fix.
If they fix that, then they've got opportunities to create turnovers, you know, most of the time, because the line speed's there. It's just now we're looking at the next part of that, which is the correct technique in terms of tackle to bring the man down.
So another Woodville scrum right in front of us, so we get a decent little look at it. Sagarvo, Warneke, and it says Starchenko. I'm assuming Tommy Price is in that front row somewhere.
Oh, you can't miss him.
Adcock gets it charged down. Turns them around. He's got a foot to it. How's the bounce work for him? He's had to keep going. Not bad soccer skills, though. Will manage. The arm is out, though. A little knock forward.
Yeah. Unlucky there. Good pressure on the kicker, though, to create that. Another solid platform again from Woodville. Again, I think we're going to see that throughout most of the day today. Adcock's gone out to kick the ball.
Good line speed from Elizabeth. Just wouldn't sit up for him, would it? If it's set up, an old third bounce never happens. That second bounce is the one that bounces up. It just didn't happen then. Again, probably just wanted a little bit too much time. Lindsay Adcock, we saw that a little bit yesterday from Joel Plummer.
Yeah, he could have given himself a little bit more depth, but it's very easy for us to call that, sat on the sidelines whilst it's going at a less pace. In a game situation, you're going at 100 miles an hour.
So Woodville again, nice and strong from the scrum. Lindsay Adcock, left-footed, sends it out. It's a good exit play. Finally, they get out of where they are.
Jenny up. Jenny for one. Jenny for one. Ready? Two.
So Elizabeth Liner, Everson's been good at 2 at the moment, almost their only option. Has to fight hard again. This time Brooks will tidy it up. Woodville happy not to compete in most of these rucks.
Yeah, certainly. I don't know whether this is part of a plan, but first 20 minutes or so, we're in now to the game, and they've not really contested anything at breakdown. They seem to have paid a little bit more attention just on closing down within broken play with line speed. Again, seeing a good, solid line integrity there from Woodville, but Elizabeth just failing to make yards as a result of that. And again, seeing them just stand off that as well.
So Elizabeth again, just trying to break the door down. Whiten got man and ball though, managed to do well and get away. Rosemeyer to Brooks. Brooks trying to find a little gap, can't quite find one. A couple of Woodville players had a bite at it.
I'm really impressed by Woodville's defence here in these phases, actually.
It is big, solid defence, and then Whiten has to go back and get it. Tries to kick it away. Got caught on the follow through by Cooper.
Yeah, they weren't getting much further with the other options there, Elizabeth. I don't think they were left them without a choice but to kick that out.
Yeah, Gatehouse puts it on the boot, and touchline beats everyone. So come all the way back for a line. I must have gone out on the full, just trying to see whether it's not Whiten who's down. He's okay. Matt Connor trying to charge the kick down, caught him right on the ankle. It's Campagna who's getting running repairs. Don't mind me saying he can be a little bit injury prone, Campagna. And there is Whiten, he's back to full fitness.
Yeah, good turnover there from Woodville, just from that breakdown. It's actually a breakdown that they did decide to contest, and they've come out with the ball for that.
That's going to roll. Oh, no! Oh! Gatehouse is the beneficiary of the bounce of a rugby ball. Don't trust it.
Oh dear. Yeah, that's again, so we just said earlier in the piece, so that was actually a Woodville turnover, good counter attack. They've looked to get the ball out there, just kicked over on the oncoming rushing line that's come up. And that, we haven't seen it just yet, but that ends up being a calamitous error.
Yeah.
That's just gifted Woodville a try there.
You would think as well that just watching the bounce of the ball, you would think that's on its way dead.
Yeah, decision.
Oh, it was, and it's coming off his heel. He's
almost just like back-heeled that then,
yeah,
right in front of the oncoming Woodville player. He's gone in and scored a try. It's one that he's not going to want to see again, but unfortunately he's going to be seeing it quite a fair bit.
You know what he's trying to, it was going to go, oh no. His hands on heads from the Onkaparinga people in the background.
Yeah,
nobody wants to see that. That's enough replays of that.
Oh my word.
Things you see when you haven't got your gun. Starchenko trying to get it. I think he got away with a little knock on, but
yeah, I think so. But I think
play on.
We play on.
Price into midfield, well behind the game line when he's first got by Elizabeth. That's no mean feat. Adcock now sends it out to young Roberts. Pulled it back to Mellis. Now they're out on that far side, but the touchline never misses a tackle.
That was actually quite impressive, but what was even more impressive, and I don't know if we'll be able to see it from this replay, but the tackling player, the way that he got up, the number 12 there, just have a look at here.
Oh, the old kip up. There we go. He's having fun. WWE wrestler in his spare time. Oh, so that's a change at front row, and that's early.
Yeah, that is an early change. Something that the Woodville players are going to look at, and they will be licking their lips. It's always a good thing for a prop, one prop when an opposing prop goes off. And then someone else is coming on to try and fill that void now. Just looking at the line out, jumping technique from the Elizabeth player.
He like springboards himself off his front supporter.
You kind of think in some cases that
it's a big tell, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big tell. And you look at little
nice counter ruck from Woodville. Now they're going to look down this side. Jack Connor fired it at Lindsay Adcock. Almost at it. Now they've rolled into the 22. Back to Adcock again. Happy to go out to young Roberts. Flat ball to Price. Then out to the winger again.
That's good play from Woodville.
Owen over on that far side. Looks back inside. Back inside is Price. The big fella. Doing one for the big poppers. That'll be 60 metres out by the time he tells that tonight. Just too big, too powerful, too strong.
Yeah, good on him. So he's found himself out in some unfamiliar territory there, Pricey, and he's distributed the ball really well. He's then come on and he's done exactly what you want to do from a coaching perspective, where you've passed the ball, you then go in to become that support runner. Yeah. He's come on to that. He's looked, players then given him the offload, and he's just trundled over from yards out. He'll be giving himself a reward, Big Mac tonight for sure.
Looks like he's nearly killed Pete Campagna with the defend. He's still down. They're asking for a my word. And there's a Woodville player coming. He's holding his arm like he's dislocated a shoulder.
This is going to be concerning for both teams now.
We're going to run out of players. We're going to be playing sevens with this, right?
We're seeing quite a lot of injuries, and you know the winner of this has to go again next week as well. So that's not ideal timing.
That is not. He does not look comfortable. Pete Campagna also didn't look comfortable. The trainer gave the universal signal for substitution almost straight away. And in all of that, I didn't see whether the kick was any good. I don't think it is. So it's 19 points to 3. So Campagna is gone. So there's changes all over the place.
Tough to keep up, actually, isn't it?
Luckily enough, the Lion McEwen Hospital is not a million miles away from here.
They might be busy tonight, and then we've still got the other game to go ahead as well later, so that's going to be interesting as well.
He's in a huge amount of pain, so apologies if any of that comes through on the microphone, but yeah, he's not in a good way. Bless him.
No, not at all. And you don't like to see that at all. No matter who you are, who your opposition is, it's never nice at all. But he looks very uncomfortable.
So another scrum. The Woodville have split. Just talking about Woodville and just how dominant their scrum is at the moment.
Yep.
You could almost line up attacking from an Elizabeth scrum at the moment. If you're that confident in it. Young Roberts with a good hand again. There's an introduction into it, but he's scragged into touch.
Yep, that's going to cause some contentious opinions, I think. The scrag.
So it's not. Is it illegal?
No, I'm only saying that just because of what's...
Of course we do. Everyone gets up and shouts and bangs fists. It's not the prettiest tackle in the world, but it's not high.
Well, the ref's having a word.
I think we've seen Lewis Adcock come back as well. Nice little out the back from Lewis
Yeah,
Adcock.
really, really good. Some good play again, and again, they're getting some good success in that
He
scrum
does
area.
go over the shoulder. What colour? Yellow.
Yep.
Little wry grin to the camera as he goes. So that's so it's a good break from Woodville.
It was, yeah, and actually this, I mean, it's never a good time to lose a player, but particularly given how the game's going and how it looks like it might pan out, that's not going to be great for Elizabeth to be going a man down there.
And Adcock is wandering up. I think he has pointed to the post, so they're just going to try and push that score out a little bit more.
Yeah, good decision.
I think part of the problem is the T carrier for Woodville. I know he's there. There he goes. This little out the back from forward as well.
You know, I didn't want to say it at the time, but yeah, certainly we've since then seen probably about 4 replays of this, and that did look forward.
Yeah, I don't know whether that's yellow card worthy. Penalty I'll have, but yellow card worthy.
I think in some cases the actions of or the reactions of other people on the touchline and on the field can be quite infectious to the referees as well.
Adcock, lovely kick. He's kicked well. He's brought his kicking boots today.
Yeah, he has, and actually
they now have to. What point do you start looking at next week? They've got a big day next week against Port Adelaide. I don't think 22 points to 3 is the point that you start putting people in cotton wool.
No, not yet.
But it has to be something in there. I mean, they've lost 2 to injury.
Yeah,
You would think now that, especially the shoulder. The shoulder is season over.
Yeah.
Guy with the eye would be a difficult one to come back to next week.
Yeah.
You would say that season over. I think it's. I've only got him as D on my team sheet. As the restart, as we see that again, didn't go exactly what I needed. No. And I think the problem that he's got is it's not gone back in.
No, they just we're seeing this unfold in front of us, and it's quite uncomfortable.
It is.
I think they're looking to try and lodge that back in, so you would look at it initially and think maybe that's a dislocation.
I don't think they do anymore.
No.
Gone are the days of sort of banging it back in, because you don't know what all the ligament issues you've got in there. But we go back to our conversation. The 22 points to 3 up. They're going to get to half-time. You would think it's getting to the point where, you know, you have to think about putting your stars in cotton wool. Oh, Hunt with a big sit down. And he's managed the offload. Hebhart is there. Woodville are going again. Adcock. Inside, then they will pull it back. That's how close they are. Just not quite there.
No. Nice play again from Woodville. They're starting to be a little bit more expansive, particularly off of set piece as well, and they can afford to do it. You just see it here again. It's a nice cruisy scrum. They take the time with it. 8's picked up quite nicely, brought some other players into the game just from making yards, and it's good continuity. Some really, really good offloads, keeping the ball alive, some nice little bits out the back as well, and that is a lovely marauding run there from Shane Hunt as well.
Yeah, it's an armchair ride at the moment for Jet Connor and who's the halfback, Reynolds.
Yeah, that's lovely. It's just he'd be pretty happy with that on a highlights reel, wouldn't he?
Do we see the number 12? Did he kip up after that one as well? Oh, and he's gone in the corner. Yeah, we are back live.
Yeah.
And that's the problem that you've got. It's such an armchair ride for them at the moment. That scrum is a massive benefit to them at the moment.
Absolutely huge. And again, it's Elizabeth's ball. It's turned over from Woodville, and it's not necessarily hooked turned over, but it's just power that's taken it back. But there's no challenge on the 8 pick, and you kind of expect that at that stage that's what's going to happen.
Well, they're a man down. They haven't got the flanker on this blind side, so he can't get there. And we talked about it before. The number 8 cannot put his head up because he's got to be head down, bum up.
Yeah.
So the scrum is a gigantic weapon for Woodville today.
Yeah, certainly is.
Yeah, this is going to be a long day in the office for Woodville, you would think.
Yeah, and going back to your earlier question, an earlier point, Dave, I don't think they'll start thinking about this just yet. I think that they realise and understand that they've got another half of rugby still to play once this half's finished. But I reckon once depending on on how quickly this scoreline keeps going up in Woodville's favour, then they might start thinking about it. Players not so much, because they'll just want to keep playing.
Players will play.
Having fun, and they'll just play. But from a coaching perspective, they'll probably be looking at it and going, right, how can we best limit what injuries might happen to our final resources?
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing. So 27 points to 3 as we get close to half time. Oh, big swinging arm. Everything's good though. Adcock, left-footed, sends it across this way.
It's a good take.
Is a good take. Beats the first one.
They're looking for the rip there, Woodville, I think. And
yeah, we probably have talked about it too much. Inside ball to Everson, but Gatehouse has come up very proppy from that tackle. Holding that right arm of his, and a penalty. Holding on, so the defender's got there.
Yeah, he's done the right thing there. The player's just initially leaving the ball alone, then the next one comes in.
Yeah, he's isolated it. Starchenko again.
Yeah, but that is absolutely spot on what he's done. It's almost a passive tackle from the Woodville player, and what that does is that then enables the gap to just open up in front. He's then gone in, looked, he's created that turnover, and all he's needed to do is just keep hold of that ball. And either way, there's going to be a penalty or a turnover at some point soon. So really good play there from Woodville, who are defending brilliantly.
The kick from the penalty has gone dead, so they're going to be right back here with a scrum. But the difficulty is, I mean, they've got a choice of a 22 or a scrum.
Yeah.
At this moment in time, I'm taking the 22. I can contest the 22. But the day, injury-wise, has just gone from bad to worse for Woodville. Gatehouse has gone. It's Gatehouse. The fullback has gone. I'm not sure whether they've replaced him just yet. I think they're playing without him at the moment, so I think they want to try and get him up and about and back on.
Yeah, well, they would then match Elizabeth's number anyway, wouldn't they? So because I think Elizabeth are just down to.
Have still got 14 on.
Men.
They're still without a blindside flanker on this side, and plus the Connor clan. The Connor clan are together on this one. Everson does well. That's what he's going to have to do. Tries to keep it on the island, but is bundled into touch.
Good tackle, Matty.
And that is half time. So Tom and I will take a break. Woodville will do their best to patch up all of their players and get ready for half number 2. And where are we? 27 points to 3 in this one. Met hard by Connor. Ladies and gentlemen, stay right where you are. We'll be right back very shortly. So, welcome back. I had a chat with one of the Woodville bench staff, and I asked him the question, and he agreed so they are struggling. And I must say as well, I did notice at halftime, Fraser Vivian wandered over, who was our local, he's a doctor up at the Barossa, so he's had a look at it, and he's got some level of sling on. They are waiting for an ambulance.
He's actually put it back in. I heard him say.
You got it back in, so it had been out. And it is amazing. It's calmed him down massively.
Yeah.
It would have been a huge amount of discomfort.
Massively.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely felt for the guy there because he's now fine. He's now okay, it seems, and he was wincing and writhing at.
He'll still be in pain.
Everything.
He'll still be in pain, but I think he's a lot more comfortable than he was.
But it's nice to see you've got other people from other clubs that have actually come in, and I think that just says more about the spirit of rugby than anything else. And he's just come in from watching on the sidelines, and he's helped out this Woodville player massively.
Just didn't quite get there. Spirit of rugby is something. It's massive.
Yeah, it's huge. It's why we play it, mate. It's why we play the sport. We just, it's a good bunch of people who get along, similar interests, similar humour, and it's part of why you got guys. I mean, like Matty Connor.
Starchenko liked his competition and decided to go. Beats 2, then rumbles towards the 10-metre line. Good counter ruck though from Elizabeth, and then Tommy Price. Gets bored of all this messing around.
Says, I'm not having any of
that. He's like a dad with misbehaving toddlers, isn't it? He's like, right, no, that's enough.
I love the guy. I've got a lot of love for the guy. Well, part of that exclusive front row club, but no, he's a good. He's the kind of person who, when we were sharing a room on tour, he was like within the room of 6 I think we had, and one of his rules was if you put the kettle on, you're making one for everyone.
Fair rule.
It's a fair rule, but he's a really good lad, and I'm just looking back at that, and he's like, yeah, there you go.
Okay, all right, fun's over.
And then, but he's having fun. This is the part of the game that he loves, and he's having a good time of it today.
Connor can pick up and give it to Reynolds. Nice little step from Reynolds. Look for the offload, wasn't there. Adcock. Woodville are getting their hands free in the tackle, and the threat of the offload is there. Reynolds again. Price in at first 5. Good hands. Adcock around the back. Then they will float it out. Nice little step away. One to beat. Can't quite get there. He looked like he got caught high again. I hope he's not, because that's the same guy.
Yep.
Everything stays there. Head part. Everson is just going to keep trying as much as he can. Adcock, flat ball to Mellis. Mellis with the little stop and go. Trying to work around the outside. Gets around the outside. Then he will come inside and Mellis will score.
Yeah, good work
from Woodville out.
Very patient play indeed, and it's all just started off on one end of the pitch and it's ended up the other. So just controlling it really well, looking at getting and moving that ball out, and they've done that quite nicely. The Elizabeth defender's gone up and shot up there. They've not been able to contain him, and he's gone down and scored a try at this moment of the game. And I actually fear for Elizabeth a little bit in this second half, because I don't think it's going to be pleasant for them.
Mellis does have good feet, and can finish. And I think controlled is exactly right. Again, speaking to the Woodville bench at half-time, they don't want a war of attrition.
No.
Because they have to play Uni next week.
So that'll be a repeat of the game last week between the two sides.
It will, and Uni got up on that one. That didn't come up. It didn't come back. The wind not helping Lindsay Adcock on that one. 27 points to 3 at the start of half-time, and you are right. And I said at the beginning of the game that you think that the orange light is already on the gas tank for Elizabeth. It's definitely on now.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think actually might be doing the same for Woodville at the moment, who've picked up a couple of injuries as well. But I think resource-wise, they're probably a little bit richer than what Elizabeth have on their bench.
I think they're down to 2 on the bench, looking at it. And Adcock just happy to send it all the way back, the back 3 from Elizabeth.
Queue of them, aren't they?
I know, right? 3, yeah. Did well, and then he will just put it on the boot. Price underneath it. Oh, he had a couple of goes at it.
Did well under pressure as well, I must say. And it's
started the counter-attack. And again, they're starting to make inroads back there, and another lazy high one.
Is that the same player?
No. I think, and we'll talk about it in the next phase of play. Reynolds, nice counter ruck again, just to make things a little bit messy, but Adcock decides he wants to go. He's going to come back their way. Hunt will step in. Out to Price. Out to Jet Connor, and Jet Connor will just lower the head, step back inside. Easy as you like for Woodville.
Yeah, it is, but again, it's good control. And Elizabeth have done the right thing there, because they're actually now looking to try and cause some disruption at the breakdown area, because it is all too easy at the moment for Woodville.
Yeah.
But again, good hands from everyone involved, and Price is out there. Nice little pass under pressure, just out to Connor. And it's a simple try for Woodville.
I think just watching this Elizabeth side at the moment, I think we're seeing a lot of first-year players. The kick from Adcock, and there was literally 3 Elizabeth players sat underneath it. That's just experience.
It is, yeah. And actually, you know, the league restructure this season is I've spoken to a lot of Elizabeth players, Barossa players, Uni, you know, who have all been on the receiving end of some heavy scores, but actually they prefer playing in this league than what they were doing beforehand, because, you know, it is a steep learning curve, but it's a learning curve.
Yeah.
And I think all the time, whereas beforehand they were losing some promising youngsters who ended up going down to, you know, play for clubs who are probably a little bit more successful. Whereas now in the league that they're in, they don't need to worry about that. And actually, there's a lot of there is a fair bit of youth coming through the Elizabeth ranks at the moment as well. It's short-term pain for long-term gain.
Yeah,
I think
it just feels a little bit like just inexperience at the moment,
yeah.
and I'm sure that it's going to come for them.
Yeah, that'll come. It will come in time. Oh, good take.
And Tommy Price has decided that he won't.
Oh, please don't tell me Price is show and go.
He's having a day out.
Oh, crikey.
They're off again.
Yeah.
And the big front. Oh! Silky from the big fella. And Shane Hunt will go over. Take a bow, Sagavo. But yeah, the front row union working in tandem there.
Yeah, well, it's started from a...
Look at this. Out the back, gets it back, then out the back of the hand, and Shane Hunt will finish. It's showtime stuff. There's another Elizabeth player down.
Just looked like he had all the time in the world, didn't he?
Well, you've got to say that's how Woodville have to now play this. They have to play within themselves. They've got to go and play Uni next week. But this is what they would have wanted. They wanted to come into this one, walk away with it, have a comfortable afternoon, not worry too much. They don't want a battle of attrition. And it's going to be the same in the second game, and I think more so as Adcock will send that one over. I think more so in the Premier Grade game, because if you look at what happened yesterday with Old Collegians, my word, did they come out of that beaten up. Will Sadler had quite a horrific injury.
Yeah, he looked like he was struggling with that. I was watching the game yesterday from home, and he looked like he was struggling with that. Was it his hip?
Yeah, so basically what happened when he made the tackle on Pitter from behind, his knee was in the ground and he's landed right on the sole of his foot. And there's no give at all. So he's basically ingested Pitter's foot. So whoever wins the match too, both of them will want to get through it basically unscathed.
Yeah, but it's going to be a very, very hard game, I think, for both teams in that one. We'll talk about that more when it comes around.
So Connor off the back, looking for a little bit of space. Adcock to Young Roberts. Young Roberts will then send it to Jet Connor. Just missed everybody. He's got a little bit excited. He had too many options.
He did.
And there goes Matt Connor, rolling back the ears. Never seen the inside of a gym, I don't think, Matt Connor. All of it has just come from a career of manual labour. It's off the top, and Connor almost got there. The arm comes out. It's going to be Elizabeth, but again, they probably don't want that scrum. It's a good old kick. It bounces their way. Put him right on touch, but he beats the first one. Can't get away from the second one. Does look to offload and manages it. And now Woodville will launch their attack again. Reynolds to Adcock. To Sagavo.
Having a good game, Sagavo.
He's starting to grow into it.
Yeah.
Adcock again. Flat ball to his brother. Left behind. Elizabeth, number 12, who isn't Richards. He's having a nice little game.
He's doing well today.
There's a lot of potential there going forward, but there's a knock on. Was it Adcock? Did he leave it behind? Oh, just that little one from Hepart. So it'll be an Elizabeth scrum, but again, talked about it.
Doesn't really make a difference at the
doesn't
moment.
at the moment. Woodville can line up attacking from this.
Yeah, they'll be happy with this, and they can certainly look to formulate an attack. We said it at the start. It wasn't going to be a good day for them in the set piece from a scrum perspective for Elizabeth, sadly.
But this is where Everson has to come to the party, and it just has to be in his area. He's got to go get it, and I think he has. Wandered around, so they'll just restart.
He does have to go and get it. You're absolutely right. I think also they're probably going to benefit from a bit of a quicker feed if they can. And really, you just want to strike that, get it back out as quickly as you possibly can before your number 8 then picks it up going
just
backwards.
Got caught up in the second row's legs, didn't it?
But it's never nice being on the receiving end of just total dominance from at scrum time.
You can just see how flat Elizabeth are. Everson has to go and get it. Again, he's going backwards, so he has to work hard. They have got away with it. Trying to look for the offload, and Elizabeth have got in the way, but we're coming back for a penalty. Offside. Oh no, not full arm. Oh jeez. Yeah, he's off early. There's Matt Connor.
Okay.
Now, can they get something? Everyone wants to see Elizabeth get over the line, and this is probably their best chance. Things see whether they've got a driving maul. Oh, they've got something. They pulled it right out of the bottom of the bag. Unfortunately, they were alive to it. I think it's Hunt that got it. Damn, they just make a mess of every single breakdown at the moment, Woodville. Elizabeth just looking to rebuild from here. Brooks looking to go. Just trying to take it off in bite-sized chunks at the moment. They will go out to Whiten. Whiten couldn't get away from Adcock. Big loud blast of the whistle. See whether it is in an offside. There we go, you see it? They were alive to it though. It's Tommy Price and Lewis Adcock. Got him. Offside though. Kick it into the corner, have another go.
Yeah,
they nearly got there.
It's the best thing that they can do, I think, because scrum isn't going to go completely their way. There's no point in taking 3 points because the game's pretty well gone.
I know they're just going to go with the tap and go. Who's going to go? They go out to the backs. Oh, just left it behind. Reynolds will pick it up. Long field, but you think the idea of exit plays is probably gone now. But again, just do your job. Get it done. Adcock does just that. Kicks to this inexperienced back three. Finally will corral it. Loses his foot. He's lost his boot. He's had a blowout.
Oh, that doesn't look good. Yeah, he has as well, hasn't he?
The boot's just disintegrated.
Yeah, it has.
Penalty.
Give him some electric tape sharpish, I think.
Yeah.
Some gaffer
It's
tape.
like the whole thing is gone.
It just completely went, didn't it? Just like it's split. It was a bad bargain in Bali, I reckon. Might have caused him a bit of discomfort as well, actually.
Yeah, I mean, he would have expected to have some level of traction, I think, and it just disappeared. He gets it on the second one.
He does, yeah, with one arm as well.
And then
goes to
there
just,
it goes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's not
the
nice.
whole lot.
And he smiled, I think, just laughing it off, but I think that might have actually caused him a bit of pain.
He wouldn't be expecting it at all, would he?
Oh, yeah, that's...
Somebody has got... There's nothing of that. Pulled off. Enough he doesn't have to... But if they're new... running repair job... Oh, offense. Well done, Rosemeyer. Just going to ask whether he got it down. I don't think he did. I think Rosemeyer's been very, very good.
He's done very well there.
Price on the roll around and then...
Oh, he's just caught it, hasn't he?
Oh, that's, I tell you what. Well done, Mr. Rosemeyer.
Yeah, he's just caught him when he's gone to roll over and place the ball down. He's just seen that.
But 5 metre
really
scrum. And the old pushover will be in the minds of them all at the moment.
Tommy will be saying to his guys, let's go for a walk. And I think if they get that right, you're probably going to be looking at a try here.
Be a nice way to raise the bat for the half century, wouldn't it? No, they've decided to go. Jet Connor wants all the glory for himself. Gives it to Reynolds. Reynolds trying to shake his way through again. They got him down. He's got it down. Reynolds will take them over the 50-point mark. What has been an interesting afternoon for Woodville, because certainly they've gone well ahead in the on the scoreboard, but at what cost?
Yeah, a couple of injuries. One I think is definitely a season ender.
The eye one I think will be interesting.
The eye one, yeah, that might be. Could have been a different one for the player. Other than that, I think they kept it relatively.
Never came back from Adcock.
Don't see many players out there hobbling or looking in any real minor discomfort. So I think they probably would have obtained most of what they have. But yeah, 2 losses, and not too sure how critical that's going to be ahead of their game. Well, we assume their game against Uni now next week.
Yeah. Gatehouse, I'm not sure. Hopefully it's just a stinger. But Elizabeth will continue to go. Starchenko has to have a couple of bites at it. Hepart can't quite make his way through. Oh, Adcock. Fine. Just decides to reset. He's isolated. Crack at it.
On
Rock forms, no hands at all.
Yeah, so even though
so no hands.
Every day's a school day.
The Lord. The Woodville again are going to look to rebuild from their own half, but it's fair at the moment.
Most of not doing themselves any favours.
No. Craig Warnocky away to our left is saying, just tell the scrum. It's a free kick. They have taken it. It's free possession at the moment, isn't it? You must have played in games where your scrum is that dominant. Yeah. And it's where it becomes a bit of an armchair ride, and I think there'll be a degree, knowing Pricey as I do, I think what he's pretty well good at is feedback to his opposition. Though he is, and I've heard him, multiple times where he'll take the player to one side after the game, grab him a beer, and he'll actually sit down and go over some pointers with them as well. And I think that's credible, part of the learning journey. But when it is such an armchair ride as it is at the moment, it's there's no real effort going into it from their end, and they're still absolutely dominating them. Bounce pass out to that far side, and again they're away. just about managed to corral it in. I think Elizabeth have got hands on. I think it is going to come back Elizabeth's way. It is to Everson. Just runs hard for 80 minutes, Everson, every single time. Whiten just decides to put it over the back. Mellis will come and get it. Mellis looking for space in midfield, beats the first one. Can't get away from the second one, throws it in hope more than anything else at the back, and Reynolds has to go and tidy it up. Crossing. Penalty, and we're away. Decides to go quick, Everson. To Brooks. Brooks will go again. Elizabeth just have to try and take things in, take little wins. Rosemeyer to Whiten, inside to Everson. Met by the substantial frame of Price. Just a little whistle for not rolling away. To Whiten, dealt with by 2. Sorry, straight away,
yeah,
and just going back is 10.
A couple of...
And find a little bit of space, it's come out, it'll knock on. So 51 points to 3, 65 minutes going on the Wojtek scoreboard. It's you'd say that everybody's eyes are starting to look next week to the university game.
I think so.
And then Port will await the winner of that one. Port versus Woodville is a rivalry that spans a number of years now.
They don't like each other a great deal, do
Between the white lines. The relationship outside of the white lines has got better over the last couple of years, but certainly on the playing enclosure, they are not best of friends.
No. Yeah, I remember watching the 2013 elimination final between the both, and that was a very, very interesting encounter from a neutral's perspective. There was no love lost at all. It got very fiery.
So another change for Elizabeth. Players dropping like flies at the moment. So a scrum well inside the half, but this is the point where I'm saying they probably should just keep 2 exit plans. And one of those is Connor. Chopped on the head of Sticks, as he is adoringly known. It's a good clearance from Connor. The line out was a bit messy. Knocked on first by Woodville. Gatehouse wanders past us with chips and gravy. So another, well, it's an Elizabeth. Everson's going to have to work very, very hard to get this one out and get it tidied up. It comes out, flies out the back, which is probably the best result for them. Then Whiten's going to look for space.
It's a good scrum from Elizabeth actually, and they've done exactly what we said they should do. It's a quick feed into the scrum. They've got it back really quickly and just got rid of it before it started to go too far backwards for them. And that's exactly what you need to do when you're really under the pump from an opposition scrum.
Penalty coming for the high one. So you expect Adcock to just send this one back into the Elizabeth half, and now the sun's starting to come into it as well. So players shielding their eyes.
Yeah, I think Elizabeth will be happy for the whistle to be blown at any time.
Yeah, another 12 minutes of pain for them. I think that would be the final 12 minutes of their season. What they have missed, and they've missed massively, is an impact runner.
Yeah.
And they've missed that in Hyam.
Yes, they have.
And people being able to run off him.
Yeah.
The only real sort of impact runner and player they've got at the moment is Everson, but he just hasn't been able to find a way through.
No, he's not been gifted an awful lot of ball, though, in all fairness.
Young Robert. Just to get.
I think he's just stopped there what would have been a beautifully worked try.
He's done well, found himself at the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
But they've come back. Not sure what that penalty was for. But anyway, Elizabeth are going again. Penalty. Not releasing. And they were off. Jet Connor. Flat ball to Lewis Adcock. Ankle tap gets him. Looks for an offload. Gets an offload for Reynolds. Blade of grass nearly got him. No halfback, so Sagava goes into Price. The big fellas in the halfback combination. And then Starchenko one off. That's all three of them. Sagava again, looking for a way through. Can't quite get there. Brought down well by Brooks. Lindsay Adcock has to go in. Out to Hunt. Hunt steps back inside, rolls away. Great off to Matt Connor. And Matt Connor will get 7 more points.
Yeah. Yeah, never in doubt. Well played there by Woodville as well. So again, the tries that they have scored have come from some really, really good control and some nice quick clean outs, and they've actually offloaded the ball really nicely in this game as well.
Good geography from Matt Connor as well to know where that dead ball line was. How's this offload though? Really nice little offload. And the tee is slow to come on because the tee carrier is about to make his way into the game, Graham Gibson. Got to give Graham Gibson a shout out today, and there is a reason for it. He lost his boots.
Oh.
So the boots that he is wearing are mine. And they are my gridiron boots.
Okay.
Which is why they are red and white and sparkly.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do when you play American football. You wear sparkly boots.
Make the footwear look pretty. Yeah, yeah.
I'm a 40-year-old man. I like my sparkly things. So Graham Gibson will make his way in. Starchenko is done. He's had a big day out as well. It just gives you... Every team needs people who you are confident that the ball's going to come back your way and you're going to make yards per carry.
Yeah, I think looking overall at what his statistics would look like at the end of the game would be quite impressive, because he's had a multitude of carries.
Oh, nearly came the right way, and Mellis will just hack it through. Now it's a little bit of a foot race. The ball bounces well enough for Mellis. Rosemeyer is back there. Tries to get away from Mellis and can't. So whistle for a knock on by Elizabeth.
Yeah, and another player in a bit of discomfort as well. I think he'll be okay.
It's Rosemeyer. I think he was cramping up a little bit.
I think he got dragged to the ground a little bit.
Yeah, maybe just rolled that ankle as well. Tommy Price first at the scrum, first ready to go.
He loves it.
Went to the second, moved into the hooker position. So Gibson is on this near side. There we got a look at Gibson's boots. Look how lovely they are.
Beautiful. Very sparkly and red and white.
Great, are they? In my defence, I didn't know they were glittery when I bought them. Flat ball to Mellis, inside ball, and again he just has it stolen off him, and Elizabeth are away. Now it's a foot race. Can he get there? He will get there. Over they go. Biggest reaction of the day. And they have deserved one.
Yeah, good on them. Kept on plucking away, and despite the scoreline being quite heavily against them, it's yeah, they continued to try and move forward and score tries. There's Nice little break of the bounce there for him as well to go on in. He's still got a fair bit of work to do to finish that off. And
it's a good finish as well.
It was a good finish, yeah.
I like the finish. The worst thing about all is on my team sheet it's Michael Richards, and it's not. I know that's not Michael Richards. So we'll just call him the Dark Knight, the anonymous hero. He's going to look to kick his own goal as well.
He's been one of the standout players for Elizabeth in this campaign, I think.
He has been really good.
Quite impressive him last week when they played against Barossa. He was, again, a standout player then as well. So, yeah, good on him. Kudos to him for getting those vital points. Well, I say vital points for his team. It's not going to make a difference now, but...
Whoa, the wind just took it away. Well, at least he's having fun. He looks like he's enjoying his rugby. So 5 minutes to go in this one. You see that's the far side. That's the travelling Onkaparinga fans.
I think they're gearing up for to make that a wall of noise for their team.
They are always vocal, aren't
always
they?
Vocal, yeah, always. And I was... they were just stacked between the between two, so pitch 1 and pitch 2 earlier on. The girls were playing on one pitch, the second or the reserve grade were playing on the other. And again, very vociferous. They make a lot of noise. They really get behind their club, and definitely always worth a couple of points as well, I think.
So Josh Badcock comes through with the goods. Well-deserved try, Lapani Vuata. So congratulations, young man. Lapani Vuata is our try scorer for the day.
Thank you, Josh, for the help there.
Yeah. He's supposed to be in the number 13 shirt, and I think it's his old man who's come on in the number 13. That's father and son in a centre combination there. Rosemeyer to Whiten to Vuata. Now he'll put it on the boot. To go back, and then the kick will go. Rosemeyer carries it. They've got to get Sagavo. He never went back at all. He never retired at all. He just stood there. Gone are those days. You've got to retire now.
Yeah.
So you'll just see Sagavo, who sort of stands with his hands in the air and then makes a tackle. So, sorry, big fella, you got to do some work.
Get a shot on, Ross. Get a shot on, Sellers. Push him off the ball, boys.
So, is the comeback on? It's unlikely.
No.
No.
Quite frankly.
No, just no.
It's not at all.
So it'll be an Elizabeth scrum. Oh, just gotten in each other's way. Knock on, knock on. Everson goes down. Just try and see what happened here. They just kind of got in each other's way. How does he end up going down? Oh, he went down on the ball. It's all right. He's just slow getting up. Sagamo. His day is done.
Yeah, fair play. Well played, that man. Actually, the entire front row for Woodville have been really good today in set piece, but also very prominent in open play as well. He very nearly had a try down there, and it was made entirely out from the front row as well, so that would have been lovely. But he's had a really good performance today.
He has done. Best on ground just to the front row.
I'm happy with that.
No bias at all.
No, not at all.
No bias at all. Adcock off his shoelaces. And then missed everybody out. Has put it down the line. Now it becomes a foot race. Good pickup. Nice step as well. Just get him a tighter shirt. If he had a tighter shirt, he would have been fine. Oh, silly one from Adcock, and Everson has turned it over. Absolutely love Troy Everson. I'll tell you what, you talk about somebody, the epitome of community rugby, and the rugby, how he goes about his game. Troy Everson is about as good as it gets. So David Brown has gone into prop. So we'll reset that one. New prop in, it always takes a minute to sort itself out, doesn't it?
Got to catch our breath. Thinking about what's going to happen for dinner.
We are in red time. 58 points to 8. Just interchangeable at the moment, and the scrum stays as solid as ever. Adcock, little bit of an in and out, slips away from one tackle, manages to get away as well. Now he'll put the foot down and run around the outside. And Adcock will score underneath the posts.
That set piece has definitely been, I mean, we've said it plenty of times within the commentary today, but it's definitely been a solid platform for everybody else who's out in the out at the backs. And all he's had to do is just a fair bit of footwork, and he's gone through under the post relatively unchallenged and unscathed.
Yeah, and the kick underneath the post for him.
It's a good footwork though.
You would think that there's not too much longer left in this one.
I
think even though we are in red time, and there's probably been a fair amount of stoppages for injuries, you would think that that will just go away.
I think the referee will probably take into consideration what the scoreline's looking like at the moment as well, and wouldn't be too hot on the amount of time that's left. It's not going to make any difference. But as it is, we've still got around about 10 minutes to go before the Burnside and Onkaparinga game.
Flags go up, and we are going to keep going. 65 points to 8. I think it's just signalled 2 minutes or 1 minute.
Okay. Yeah,
1 or 2 minutes. I saw a finger.
Yeah.
But at least time to go again. Adcock beats the first one and gets an offload away to Hepart. Can't undersell the work that he's done today. Out to Hunt. Hunt with a little show and go inside. Young Roberts will pull it back, and now they're getting out to Mellis. Again, they're going to get some good yardage down that far wing. He's one-on-one. Steps out to the tackle, then steps inside. One to beat. The one has done him. Gets the offload to Mellis, though. Mellis will go over. And just put the final nail in the coffin, you would think. It's been a big day out. We saw one yesterday, but 70 points to 8 with the kick to come. It's an ugly scoreline.
Yeah, it's not a pleasant one at all. He's just danced away from all oncoming challenges that's come his way as well. He's offloaded it really nicely. Support's there in abundance. He's got about 3 players around him actually looking to get their hands on that ball. And as it is, again, another bit of tidy footwork. Just see him slide under the post there as we draw this game to a close.
Yeah, I think the way people are standing, and there's a congratulations on halfway, and that will be that. So Woodville will progress and take on Adelaide University next weekend at Dry Creek. The winner of that game next week will face Port Adelaide in the grand final for 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, next up will be Burnside taking on Onkaparinga. From me, Dave Webb, and Tom Hankey. Stick around, we'll see you for that one.